Hey guys, Slinky Bricks here. Welcome to my 2020 LEGO Star Wars All-Inclusive Set Buyer's Guide. This video will include limited release sets, or won't include limited release sets such as the Bespin Jewel, May 4th promo, and Yoda's lightsaber gift with purchase, as they are no longer available for purchase from retail stores, and the only way to get them is through extensive pricing online. Without further ado, let's begin. 75263 Resistance YWing Microfighter is what's first, and for what it's worth, this set is a great way to get Zoe Bliss, who was previously only available in the actual YWing set from last year. The build looks good, and it represents a smaller version of the YWing well. The only real flaw I can find is the two flick fire missiles at the top that really take away from the build. If you're looking for a nice cheap way to get Zoe Bliss, I recommend this set to you, but otherwise this set doesn't really tickle my fancy. Next up is 75254, Kylo Ren's Shuttle Microfighter, which is arguably the better Microfighter. It comes with the much desired Kylo Ren minifigure of cracked helmet, and the build overall looks great for a super downsized Kylo Ren's shuttle from last year. My only real flaw of it is again the play features of the stud shooters on the wing, but I think those fit better where they are compared to the YWing Microfighter's play feature. I'd recommend this set to a lot of people as it's a great affordable way to get a newer Kylo Ren minifigure, but if you already have that figure and aren't interested in the build, I suggest you skip over this one. 75265 T16 Skyhopper vs Banter Microfighter. This is the final Microfighter packer of the wave, and it comes with two bundled together. For me, this set really takes the cake out of the Microfighters. This is the first time we've gotten a LEGO Banther in any way, shape, or form, so to have a nice little brick-built one is a great fit. And the other build is quite nice also. The minifigures are pretty good with the T16 pilot taking the cake again out of an already great set, as he has also red pilot gear and cool prints around his body. The Tusken was a nice inclusion that made sense. If you don't already have the set, I recommend you get it just so that you can have a Banther in your collection. Afterwards, you have the 75266 Sith Trooper Battle Pack. This was a set a lot of people were excited for the release of. It came with two Sith Jump Troopers, one regular Sith Trooper, and one Sith Officer. I feel like this set could have been greater if it had swapped out either a Sith Jump Trooper or the Sith Officer to replace them with another Sith Trooper, which would make this an even greater army builder. The build was nice and actually looks to be based off the Force Awakens Snowspeeder thing, and it's a fun little thing to play around with. Overall, with this set, I would recommend if you're interested in a Sith Trooper army, but if you're not, then I don't know what to tell you except this set ain't for you. 75267 Mandalorian Battle Pack. This one sold out a lot when it first came out, and it's not even the masterable with a battle pack, like the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack that came out a few years ago. This pack includes 4 figures, whom all have distinguishing looks, and have more than 2 on a display might look weird. However, though people like Solid Brick Studios have proven that an army of these characters wouldn't be too bad, while I don't agree, I do see their points. This pack came with a lot of desirable minifigures, including a Paz Vizsla lookalike Blue Mando, and a host of other unique Mandos. The build included was a very nice cool looking speeder, and to go alongside that, LEGO included an looking build of some rock debris. I feel this set would have been better if the rocks were swapped out for something like another speeder, or maybe even a turret. Overall, I'd recommend this set to almost everyone as it's a must have. Now for 75268. The 4 Plus Snowspeeder, this set is just and more Well, I understand why LEGO released this set, as they're trying to run a toy business, and a part of that is making sets for kids. The Snowspeeder barely even looks like a Snowspeeder, and unless you're either 4 or you collect every other set, I'd recommend you set this one out. But next up, on a more high note, 75269 Jewel on Mustafa. This set is a part of the Versus line and gave us a more accurate representation of Anakin and Obi-Wan's Jewel on Mustafa. It had spinning droids that they could stand on and a structure that could fall down on them, just like was seen in the film. The figures were both a blessing and a curse, as when we first got them, they had cool accurate lava burn pieces on them, but LEGO would later reuse these prints in a way that makes no sense. The flaws in this set, there aren't much, but I feel like the lava situation could have been handled better, and if they had have included a nice little hill to cut Anakin's limbs off on, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye on this set. Great way to get both Anakin and Obi-Wan, and I recommend it for just that, but the whole Versus feature and idea really drives the value up the wall for me. So if you're interested, I do recommend you buy this set. 75270 ObiWans Hot. This is a great little playscale model of ObiWans Hot. It is accurate to the film, and on the outside looks like it belongs on Tatooine. Inside you can find Obi-Wan's dining area and a kitchen, as well as an exclusive hologram layer piece. That looks ridiculously good. There's also crates littered around the set with lightsabers, and even another exclusive thing, which is the droid that Luke trained against on the Millennium Falcon. The figures, the set came with Old Ben himself, R2-D2, Luke Skywalker, and a Tusken Raider for them to fight against. Once the set is complete, you'll notice at the back there are clips for it to combine with another set, but all throughout 2020, no other set that it could combine with was released, leading me to speculate that either we'll get the rest of Obi-Wan's house next year, or you won't ever be getting it. I would recommend this set to you if you've bought Mos Eisley and are looking for an extra thing to display with it. as ObiWans house looks just like another generic Tatooine home, and I'd recommend this set if you're interested in what it contains. 75271, Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder. It's a more controversial set, as it feels like almost every year LEGO releases one, with only minor upgrades, but after going through the entire year, it makes more sense as to why it was made again, as LEGO put out a Master Builder series Mos Eisley, and you can put the two sets together to recreate some scenes. The overall build is an upgrade when compared to older versions. It even has a built-in storage for Luke's binoculars off to the side. You can find a little Jawa hole as well that you can use to recreate the scene where C-3PO gets taken into the sand cooler. For minifigures, you add Luke and a cool exclusive poncho that you can wear, an IC-3PO and a little Jawa that is semi-accurate to the scene. I'd recommend this set if you don't already have a Luke's Landspeeder, but if you do, and it's one of the more recent ones, it's probably in your best interest to skimp over this. 75272, Sith TIE Fighter, or as it's more commonly referred to, the Dorito ship. I don't blame LEGO for making this ship, as they wouldn't have known that its only purpose in the film was to be blown up and put in the background for most half a frame. The build is also not interesting, it can't even hold itself without the subsistence of a stand. And for figures, you get a generic Finn, a TIE pilot, if only desirable character being one of the Knights of Ren. If you're gonna buy this set just for the Knight of Ren, I recommend that instead you just bricklink the figure and save yourself a lot of money in the long run. 75273, Poe Dameron's XWing Fighter. Before I talk about this set, I just want to put in perspective that this is the third version of Poe's XWing. I'm starting to think Poe's having an identity crisis. The color scheme of orange and blue and white reminds you of a 3rd trooper from the 7th season of Clone Wars. And the build is overall sharp, which is what we've come to expect from LEGO's XWing releases. For a side build, they even included a ladder, which is useful to bring logic to how Poe gets in and out of a ship without breaking his legs. For minifigures, we had a bland R2 and a bland Poe, but we were graciously given an exclusive Knight of Ren to help complete the Knight of Ren army, and an exclusive Jana minifigure to go alongside that. I recommend this set if you're interested in the build, but if you only want the Knight of Ren figure, you should probably save your money and just bricklink it. That wraps up the summer wave of 2020, and moving on, we have 75275 UCS AWing. This set is a UCS collector's must, as it includes every nook and cranny of detail that could be squeezed in. The set even had a new widescreen mold for the cockpit. The surface of the build is a good mix between studs and smoothness, and the color choice of red is iconic and memorable. The stand holds the set up well in a flying position. For minifigures, you get an exclusive green AWing pilot. And while he doesn't fit in this ship, if you brought another small version of the AWing, I'm sure he'd go just fine with that. I recommend this set a UCS collector, but personally I'm going to skip it as the whole supersized build concept doesn't really appeal to me. I prefer all my ships to be playscale. 75274, TIE Fighter Pilot Helmet. It's the first of 3 helmets released this year. It is a nice size, and has a nice black build that represents the TIE Pilot well. For me, this is the second best helmet released this year. To make it better, however, I feel like if LEGO had included a TIE Pilot minifigure, this set would feel more complete. My least favorite of the helmets, 75276 Stormtrooper Helmet. A great representation of the Indian Universe Stormtrooper helmet, but compared to the other ones, this one is simply outclassed. Again, to make it better, they could have included a Stormtrooper minifigure, and I'd recommend it if you want, because there's nothing overly bad about it. Finally, to wrap up the helmets, 75277 Boba Fett Helmet. This is the best of the helmets, as instead of being a masterable character, this is Boba Fett himself. The rangefinder on the build is articulated, and the colors would stand out amongst anyone's shelf. If LEGO had had a Boba Fett figure with this set, it would have increased the value to me. But for what it is, it's a great set, and there's a reason it sold out quickly. To conclude the spring wave, 75278 DO Buildable Statue. It's a nice buildable statue that fits well with other buildable statues that have been released in the past. It's a great looking build that is also sturdy, and it captures the look of Dio almost perfectly. One criticism I do have though is that this set would have been better if instead of Dio it was BD1, but that's a complaint for another day. This set did come with a Dio figure that fits minifig scale more accurately. It even had a plaque that you could display alongside your build to add extra value to it. Overall, I'd recommend this set if you collect the buildable statue figures, but otherwise if you're not interested in it, like me, my motto is to just leave it be. The winter wave is what's next, and to start things off, 75279, the Advent Calendar. Skip ahead if you don't want this to be spoiled for you. I feel like this Advent Calendar really brought back the festive feeling and meaning of the Advent Calendars. It's been a few years since an Advent Calendar has had an Xbox themed minifigure, and this one makes up for that by including a Vader with Xmas sweater, a Poe with Xmas sweater, and a nice white snow-themed gonk. Overall, I don't have much criticisms for it, and I recommend you buy it in time for the Christmas countdown. 75280, 501st Legion Clone Troopers is arguably the best set of the year. The set has been campaigned for many years now, with the face of the movement being Emendar Productions, a big LEGO YouTuber. In this set, you got 501st themed figures, which were a newer AT-RT design, as well as a 501st Bark Speeder. For figures, you got 3 new revamped 501st soldiers, a 501st Jump Trooper, and 2 soldiers to fight against them. The set was a pleasant surprise for a lot of people and has probably been at the top of people's most wanted list of sets for a long time. Originally, people wanted LEGO to make this a regular battle pack, but I guess LEGO saw the money-making potential and took advantage of us fans. And though that fact is true, it doesn't take away from the joy and victory feelings I get when reminiscing of the times when I too paraded around demanding a 501st set. Overall, I highly recommend this set as it is a great army builder, has great builds, and has great minifigures. But if you're not a fan of Clone Wars, I can see why you would skip out on it. 75281, Anakin's Jedi Interceptor is up next. And while this is a nice build of disappointing minifigure, now I don't want to go on a rant, but pretty much LEGO put an Anakin with a burnt Mustafa body and a ship from a scene that happened like an hour before that happened. The actual ship in this set looks great, it has a good mix between yellow and grey, and even has a working slot for R2-D2 to sit in. Minifigures are disappointing though. Anakin, well, as I said before, an R2-D2 that fits the set. I'd recommend it if you want an Anakin and his ship for your displays or marks. One of my favorite sets from the year, 75283 Armored Assault Tank. AAT included the Separatist tank in Separatist colors in a nice size-accurate scale. The build was good looking, and though a lot of people complained about this one, there's always going to be people that complain about stuff. But I'd like to think the positives outweigh the negatives in this set. Comes with an exclusive desirable Season 7 of Clone Wars outfit, Ahsoka, with her only flaw being that her headband is printed too high and should actually be a little lower. The set also included a Season 7 322 in Trooper, which for those of you that don't know is the Trooper Regiment that splits from the 501st and are now under Ahsoka's leadership. The set also came with 2 green pilot droids, which is also great to the Clone Wars. I recommend this set if you're interested in making a droid army, as the tank is great and iconic vehicle from the Separatist Armory. 75286 General Grievous' Starfighter was by far the most disappointing price-wise, but build-wise, it held up. I know a lot of people really wish the clones included in this set were either a Magna Guard or a Phase 2 Cody, but I'm content with the figures it has. A lot of people were also upset that LEGO reused the Mustafa dual Obi-Wan, and I can see why. The build was good and captures the look of the Soulless One well, with the airborne trooper included, which I feel gets more hate than he deserves. And the Grievous is great, while the Obi-Wan is expected. I'd recommend this set if you're a fan of the build, but if not, maybe don't bother with it, or at least wait until it's on sale so you don't get scammed by the price. 75288 AT-AT. It's another great set from this year. The build looks amazing, and the set was released to celebrate the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. In the build, you got 2 desirable mini builds, which were a wide speeder as well as an E-web cannon, both of which were seen and popularized by the Mandalorian TV show. Whilst the front of the build does look iffy and stand out, as the rest of the build is studs all over, but the front is just flat, I feel it doesn't take away too much from the quality. This is also one of the only AT-ATs with the ability to put General Veers and 2 AT-AT drivers in the cockpit at once. It even has opening sides with enough room to store a dozen more snowtroopers. The figures you got were 2 snowtroopers, 2 AT-AT pilots, a General Veers, and a Snowspeeder outfit Luke, all of which are great inclusions and great minifigures. I recommend this set to anyone that doesn't already have an AT-AT or is interested in getting one. 75291 Death Star Final Duel. When this set was revealed, no one had any idea what was coming out. It was a nice surprise. It is in fact a re-release, but it does have a lot of updates and upgrades, and the build is fantastic. It has a chute that Palpatine can fall down, it has Palpatine's throne, it has an area to the right for Luke and Vader to duel. The front of the set is extendable and has a cool red contrasting color that makes me think we might get a Palpatine's Arrest remake to combine the two, even though that doesn't make much sense, lore-wise. Figures, this set came with 2 Imperial Guards, a brand Luke, a Palpatine of the new Hood mode, and an awesome Vader with arm printing, which is a fine addition to anyone's collection. If you do have the original, I think it's worth the price to upgrade, but if you did miss out on the OG one and you don't want it, by all means go for it. The Rey Christ is another one of the greatest sets this year. 75292 added a good sturdy build with accurate proportions, a large interior for play. The set came with a new windscreen mode for the cockpit, and the cockpit fits 3 figures seated. The biggest appeal of the set at the time was of its release, was its exclusive Baby Yoda, but the set also came with an exclusive IG-11, which you can tell by the head, and even an exclusive Grief cargo. The other figure was a biker trooper, who unfortunately didn't have his white bike. That was included in the AT-AT, so if you want to get it, you're going to have to spend twice as much money. The set also included 2 stickered carbonite blocks, which represent Mando's bounties, and overall I'd recommend the set to any recommended Mandalorian fan, as it is a great and fun and engaging build of some of the best minifigures of the wave. To conclude the winter wave, we have 75293 Resistance ITS Transport, which was a set based on a ride in an amusement park. The build roughly resembles the Tantai 4, and for play features it had stud shooters and the ability to transport cargo. The minifigures were all unique, including a big blue-haired rebel, someone from Admiral Akbar's species, a gonk droid, and an exclusive black astromech. Overall, if you do like this set, I would recommend you go for it with your gut and get it. Personally, I have no interest in it. Not that long ago, 75318, the chart was revealed, and it was also revealed to be the last set of the year. It's a nice brick-build accurate representation of Baby Yoda that included the little metal ball that he plays with in the show. For figures, you got the same Baby Yoda as the Rey Christ, which makes the set a cheaper alternative to get that figure. But if you do want the cheapest way to get that figure, you should probably check out Bricklink. Off to the side, it came with a plaque. And if I recommend it or not, the answer is I do. Since it's such a nice little build that is mostly life-size accurate, I'll be picking it up myself. Saving the best till last, the final set to talk about is 75290, Mos Eisley Cantina. This was by far the biggest and one of the coolest of the year. This is a set to be remembered, as it includes the full Mos Eisley Cantina, 2 little side build buildings, and 2 speeders. The interior of the cantina has the iconic bar to serve drinks to the wretched hive of scum and villainy, as well as seating areas all around for the patrons of the bar. Outside there are 2 different moisture evaporators, as well as a place to store the new dewback included in the set. The 2 buildings I mentioned earlier are a house and a Jawa shop. 2 speeders are the wood circa one and the coolest sleeker one of this. The minifigures, there were a lot, but the most notable were Ponda Baba, Dr. Everson, Greedo, the bar server, and the Cantina band. The number one figure, however, from the set to me was the Imperial Spy, as his nose piece really captures his look amazingly. Do I recommend this set? Of course. I know the price is a bit steep, for what you're getting it's 110% worth it. That about wrapped up this video. As always, I'm Slinky Bricks, and if you enjoyed the video, please like it, there's a lot of effort went into making it. If you want to see more of my content in the future, simply subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. See ya.